guys, welcome to Twinning Up the House. Today I'm replacing a Jalosey door insert with a clear glass insert. And as you can see, I've already done this door, and now I am on this door. So Jaloseys, although retro cool, do nothing for your heating and air. It's pretty much like having an open door. It's really bad. So I am putting in a new insert. Now, my house is built in the 50s, so the inserts they make today do not fit my door. So what I did is I went out to look at buying inserts, getting a custom-made insert, getting a whole new door. All those things were like $500. Plus, call me biased, the new doors that they make, even if I spent the $500, that wood that they use today is not this 1950s wood. I mean, this stuff has been here for, what are we talking now, 50, 60, 70 something years? Not rotted at all. And I just don't trust modern wood doors to hold up to that level. So I don't want to get rid of my door. So what I'm doing is I went on Facebook Marketplace. I found a guy who was selling his glass inserts because he replaced them with the ones with the blinds in the middle. Like they were like almost new. He had just built his house. And $70 for two. Woohoo! So $45, I get what I want out of my doors. I just have to put a little work into it. Now, like I said, the old doors inserts are a different size than what our modern inserts are. So I'm going to have to cut my door. And to do that, I'm going to take it down and cut the door, and then I'll put the new insert in. FYI, putting in an insert is super crazy easy. So I really wouldn't pay anybody ever to do that. And I'll show you that at the end of this video. But what I've done is I've taken all the stuff off of my door, all the screen holders and everything else so my saw doesn't get impinged. And I had to draw the lines for my new measure. Just as a note, this door only has 3/4 of an inch between here, so my molding is going to be really close to this. Whereas the other door I did had 1 3/4 inches there, so I had to cut both sides. But this one, I'm only cutting this side. So, well, and the bottom, and the top. So, first thing I'm doing is I'm taking the door off. Now, like I said, when you take off a door, you want to go and loosen all of the screws for the whole door first. Because if you go screw by screw, you're going to end up with one screw that's holding the whole weight of the door, and it's never going to come off. It's like impossible. I mean, I'm sure if you like have super skill, you might be able to, but that's not me. So I loosen all of the screws, and then I'm going to remove the top, and I'm going to remove the bottom, and then I'm going to be left with this middle one, just because for me, it's easier to hang onto the door and reach these screws than trying to squat down or reach up. So that's how I'm getting this door off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be back. Okay, so the door is off. There we go, and it's laying out here. I've got it laying down so it's beyond the edge of the bench with the blue line, so I don't cut the bench. And then over here, it's beyond the edge of the chair, just a little, with that one. So now that I've got it here, I've got it laid down, although this doesn't seem like the most sturdy surface. It is actually quite sturdy. Let's see. Let's make sure it's sturdy. And now it's time to cut. I don't take this center insert out, although maybe I should. Yeah, I'm going to try and take the center insert out because last time I did it with the door on the hinge, so it didn't fall. But here, I think if I cut this, it's probably going to be too much weight. It might splinter and break the ends. So don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this piece out. Alright, so just as a note, Jaloseys are held in with screws, as you can see right there. Yes, I could use a drill and make it faster, but when I get old, especially rusty screws like this, I am not inclined to use a power drill, because again, if it strips, I am out of luck, and you're into a whole other world of hurt. So just take your time. Use a hand tool, screwdriver of the right size, and take them out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and confess. There's a whole segment of bad idea here because this thing comes out underneath so it's going to drop down that way when I unscrew it, but I put a mat underneath it, and I'm just going to hold it with my hand. Let's see how this goes. Okay, Jalosey is out. And in full disclosure, I do have help. My son is helping me like hold things and stuff so this didn't come crashing down out here. But the Jalosey is now out, and so now all I have to do is cut. So here we go. Alright, so I'm ready to cut. I got my saw. Ta-da! A good saw is really important. So make sure you got a good saw, make sure you got a good saw blade, otherwise you're going to be fighting it the whole time. And also I have a hand saw, because here's the deal. You can only get so close to a corner with a circular saw. So I'm going to circular saw it in as close as I can so it doesn't exceed my lines, and then I'm going to use the hand saw to saw out the rest. That way I get nice, clean corners with nothing that I have to putty or fix afterwards. The other note is, I'm going to have to move that table, give yourself time. Always give yourself time. Be patient. Don't rush. Don't do anything in a rush. And don't let people interrupt you, which is my hardest challenge. Because, you know, that's when you make mistakes, or that's when a project becomes no fun at all, because you're trying to get it done, and that's when you mess up. So now I'm going to go ahead and make these cuts. And I'll talk a little bit as I do about using a circular saw. Okay, so everything is set up. Everything is nice and neat. I think the camera can see me okay. Alright, you gotta use a little man power or woman power when it comes to using a circular saw. Certain things are going to happen. It's going to start to slow down, and if it starts to slow down and like grind, that means a couple of things. It means you're not making a straight line, or it means that your wood is sagging and it's pinching on the blade. So mine's a pretty heavy-duty wood. Sagging isn't probably going to be an issue much until I get up there, but mostly it would be because I'm not cutting in a straight line. Now, hopefully you've used a saw before and you know there's a guide right here. So my line's going to stay in this guide. Also, wear eye safety because stuff throws up. But your biggest danger when using a saw is you might be cutting and you'll hit something, or something will be going straight and it kicks back. And you need to make sure that you keep in there with leverage the whole time so that it doesn't kick back on you and you don't like cut yourself. Okay? So let's give this a shot. Starting, this is called the safety. But for these type of cuts, you're going to need to lift up the safety a little bit. Set it on the line. Set it on the line. Get yourself positioned. Make sure you're not wobbly or tangled in the cord or anything else. Set it up. That's because I got a little crooked. Started to go a little sideways. My line, when I went between the ruler marks, is a little uneven. But you just slow down, just wiggle it just a little bit, try to get back on a straight line, and make sure you're going straight. Slacked up. Now, another thing to note is when I get towards the edges, you got to look and see where the blade actually is, so you can stop at your edge. So then you use your handsaw, like I said. So I'm going to get in here. And I need to go down in the cut. So since I need to go down in the cut, I got to lift up the blade protector. Now look at this. Here's a bad idea. The cord is right here. So this kicks back, slice my cord. And make sure, get my cord out of the way. And now I've tightened my blade because my blade came loose. Messing with the blade, unplug your blade. It's hot. I have no idea when the last time I tightened that blade was. So that one's done. Now I'm going to go across this way. Now you know before it kind of kicked back on me, it's because I didn't let the blade stop before I took it out. And I kind of let up on my leverage, so there's a bunch of stuff. Also, I got to cut here, and now I've got to complete this cut. Now, I think I need to show you this one up close. This one that's already cut, so I have to lift up my blade guard like I talked about. Get over here so you can see better. My blade guard, see? The blade guard comes down. If I do this, it's going to be all cattywampus, which I don't think I can. Oh, here you go, look. Can you see how there's a gap there? It's going to be all cattywampus. So you have to lift up your blade guard and make sure your blade is flush against the surface that you already have. So see how it's like nice and flush right there? And same thing on the other side. Give yourself a little bit of room to get started. And so that's how you're going to cut that. So I'm going to make these other cuts and then I will get back to you. Okay, so now all my cut pieces are done. I don't know if you can see through here. No, you can't really. But I can, what you do is you look down through here and you make sure you can see all the way through, except for these corners. So this is the part that I'm going to cut now. Part of this is nice with the corners because, like I said, if you cut all the way through, like this corner here, when you make that cut, it starts to drop and it pinches the blade And that gets a little wonky. You got to kind of really be careful with that. I personally find that to be like super dangerous, because that's when weird crap happens. Never force it. Always do it. So then you just get this blade. It's got enough room to go through. Ta-da! Like that. And then you just saw it. As long as this thing is in good shape, your hand saw, then it'll just saw through as far as you need. And doing this one-handed is not the most efficient method, but it works. Okay. Let's go this way for a bit. I'm going to have to use two hands and I'll get to the break point. So I finished my handsaw, getting through here. Look, what a nice clean corner. And that's really what you want. So now I've got to do my other corners. So just a note on this. So there's some little itty bitty piece holding this, even though it seems like I've sawed all the way through. You'll have the inclination to bang on it and push it through. Don't do that. Because what it's going to do, it's going to chip and break and do all sorts of stuff. Again, just be patient. Go back with the saw. If I can get it in there. Take your time. Resaw it. Try to catch whatever little piece it is. And then you see I have this nice, clean corner. No chips, no breaks, nothing. Alright. So just note, I'm going to leave this corner and I'm going to do this corner. Because all the weight of this thing that is unattached is going to be on this. Now, like I just said, you don't want to push and anything like that, or you'll get chips and cracks and all that kind of stuff that you don't want. So this has two edges holding it. This one only has the one. The weight of this whole thing would be on here, which make it more likely to crack. I'm going to leave it here, and you just have to be a little careful when you do that. So I'll get back when I do that last corner. What did I say exactly I didn't want to do? I didn't want to let this thing fall so that you get little cracked stuff. But, of course I did. So now, see how it's kind of... Ugh. See? Luckily it didn't crack the outside. It only cracked the inside. But now I got to clean up these little... I made a big old boo-boo. I measured the door, the other door, and then I assumed that both doors' inserts were the same size. They're not. Apparently this door's jalousies were 1 inch larger than the other ones. So I am 1 freaking inch off. So, now I've got to trim this, put it back on here, caulk it, seal it, blah, blah, blah. And then I can get back to putting the insert in. So, let me get to that. Alright, so we jumped. There it is. It's done. Yeah. So, a couple of problems with making this video. I did end up patching the door, as you can see. I still have to come back, sand this some more. I took a piece of wood, put it back in there, screwed it in with 6 screws, caulked the inside of it before I put it on, so it's got a whole bunch of caulk, like totally deep inside. And then this is all wood puttied on the inside, wood puttied on the outside, and then poof, it went in. And I was going to film it all, but it started to rain. So I had a great opening in my door, and I needed to seal it up, so I had to pop that on real quick and not do the video. So, yeah, well, I told you, I showed you how to cut a door and how to not measure a door properly. So I hope that was helpful, but now we've got, you know, the Jalosey is gone, this door is in, that door is done, and I'm on to the next project, which eventually is going to involve replacing all these windowsills, those outlets, and probably a bunch of this wall. So, you know, here's to the next time. Thanks. Bye.